Gandhi protested against the delay. He read a statement pleading guilty. He was involved, he told the court, in a conflict of duties. On the one hand, not to set a bad example as a lawbreaker. On the other hand, to render the humanitarian and national service for which he had come. So now Mahatma Gandhi, it is being said that in the court, Mahatma Gandhi said that, I don't want any delay. I want the trial to happen. So when the lawyer who was from the side of the Britishers, he is saying that, okay, let's stop this court session, let's delay it, let's postpone it, because he probably was scared of the crowd outside and the support Mahatma Gandhi was getting. So probably he wanted to discuss with his seniors. But here Mahatma Gandhi is protesting. He's saying that, no, I don't want this trial to be delayed. It should happen now. In fact, he's giving a response, he's giving a justification. And he's saying that on one hand, I agree that I may be a lawbreaker, as whatever were asked to me according in that official notice, I disobeyed that. But, and I actually set an example by disobeying that official notice. I had set an example of a lawbreaker because I did not follow what was written in the official notice. So in a way, I actually broke a law. So on one side, he's admitting it. But then he's saying that on the contrary, I do agree that I was a part, I am an example of a lawbreaker here. But he is also giving a justification that even if I am a lawbreaker, on the other hand, I came to this place. Why did I came to this place? To actually help the peasants on the humanitarian and national service, to serve my nation, to serve my country, to help the people on humanitarian ground. So this was why I came to this place. So Mahatma Gandhi is justifying that if I see that yes, I have not followed the official notice, then definitely I am a lawbreaker. But he's saying that if I would have not done that, then my purpose of coming to this place would not have been fulfilled. So he disregarded the order to leave not for want of respect for lawful authority, but in obedience to the higher law of our being, the voice of conscience. He asked the penalty due. So now he's saying that, it is not because I want to say that I don't respect the authorities. That is the people who are in power or the authorities. I'm not disrespecting them. My idea or intention was not to disrespect them when I disobeyed their order of leaving this place. But my idea was to actually look for the higher authority of who we are, on the humanitarian front. That's when he says that it was the voice of our conscience, of our inner self, that what is right, what is wrong. Even if being an authority, we know that whether we are doing what we are doing is right or not. So the inner self of what is right and what is wrong. Our inner self is always aware about this. So Mahatma Gandhi is just saying that, that if my idea, my intention to say that, I am not going to leave this place, was not to disrespect the authorities here, but it was only to listen to my inner self. It was only to justify of who we are on humanitarian ground. I know what is right, what is wrong, and I was just listening to that. And then he says that for not obeying the official order, I agree, I am a lawbreaker, and I know that there should be a penalty that should be given to me. But he's just talking about the penalty. The magistrate announced that he would pronounce sentence after a 2-hour recess and asked Gandhi to furnish bail for those 120 minutes. Gandhi refused. The judge released him without bail. So now when Mahatma Gandhi had given his justification, he has given his point of view in front of the court. So here the magistrate, that is the judge, is telling him that, okay, I will be giving my judgment after a 2-hour recess. And he then told Mahatma Gandhi that in this 2-hour, in this 120 minutes, you go and file for a bail. But Mahatma Gandhi denied. So what did the judge do? He actually released him without bail. When the court reconvened, the judge said he would not deliver the judgment for several days. Meanwhile, he allowed Gandhi to remain at liberty. So now after the court reconvened, that is after a short break, after a short break. So what happened? The court actually met after a short break, and then the judge said that okay, I am not going to give my judgment for many days, but Mahatma Gandhi is free to remain at liberty. Means he is free to be that is he has his freedom. He is free to go. Now Rajendra Prasad, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Mazharul Haq and several other prominent lawyers had arrived from Bihar. So by this time, all these important people had actually come to Champaran from Bihar. Now they conferred with Gandhi. What would they do if he was sentenced to prison? Gandhi asked. Why? The senior lawyer replied, they had come to advise and help him. If he went to jail, there would be nobody to advise and they would go home. So now here, when all these people came along with, a group of prominent and very, we could say good lawyers, they came. But Mahatma Gandhi said that, they are saying that what if he was sent to prison? Mahatma Gandhi is asking them that what if I was jailed? So the senior lawyer here in this group, the senior lawyer replied that, they are here to actually help him, give him suggestions, advise him. And even if he went to jail, there would be nobody to advise and they would go home. So what about the injustice to the sharecroppers? Gandhi demanded. The lawyers withdrew to consult. So now this is all about Mahatma Gandhi, the conversation. That, what if he goes to jail? Who will be there to advise him? Who will be there to help him out? So this conversation till now was happening regarding to Mahatma Gandhi, between the lawyers and Mahatma Gandhi. Now here Mahatma Gandhi is questioning that, okay, what about the injustice that is being done to these sharecroppers of Champaran? So at this point, the lawyers, the group of those prominent lawyers, they said that we don't want to consult on that. So Rajendra Prasad has recorded the upshot of their consultations. They thought amongst themselves that Gandhi was totally a stranger, and yet he was prepared to go to prison for the sake of the peasants. If they, on the other hand, being not only residents of the adjoining districts, but also those who claim to have served these peasants, should go home, it would be a shameful desertion. So here what is happening? Mahatma Gandhi is saying that, okay, what about the sharecroppers, the injustice that is being done to them? So here, Rajendra Prasad and the other lawyers, they have this idea that Mahatma Gandhi is a stranger to them, who does not even belong to their place, okay, so to their state. So here, these lawyers and Rajendra Prasad are thinking that, what if a stranger, look at Mahatma Gandhi, he is not even belonging to our state, still he is ready to go in prison, he is ready to go to jail just to give justice or bring justice for the peasants of Champaran. Okay, and here look at us, we are the lawyers, and we have actually said that yes, we are claiming, we are saying that we are actually serving the peasants, we are actually helping the peasants, but how will it be that this person who is totally a stranger, who does not even belong to our state, is going to jail just so as to bring justice to the peasants of our state, and here we as a body of lawyers are doing nothing for the peasants of Champaran, and rather we are going back. So this would be such a shameful situation. So they accordingly went back to Gandhi and told him that they were ready to follow him into jail. So now these lawyers, along with Rajendra Prasad, they agree that okay, we are going to follow you to jail. We are together in this. We will together bring justice to the peasants of Champaran. The battle of Champaran is won, he exclaimed. Then he took a piece of paper and divided the group into pairs and put the order in which each pair was to, quote, arrest. So now, when these lawyers, along with Rajendra Prasad, they agreed that yes, they must fight for the peasants who are belonging to their state. So here they said, they told Mahatma Gandhi that we are together with you, even we will go to jail to bring justice to the peasants of our state. And now Mahatma Gandhi is saying that this is when I say that the situation in Champaran is won. We are going to win. And now they started the planning, that how, you know, he wrote the names of people, he divided them, and the plan of action was decided. Several days later, Gandhi received a written communication from the magistrate informing him that the lieutenant governor of the province had ordered the case to be dropped. Civil disobedience had triumphed, the first time in modern India. Now, remember in the court proceedings, the judge has finally said that, you know, I am not going to give the verdict soon. I am going to give the verdict after a few days. And therefore, after many days, Mahatma Gandhi got a written information, a written communication from the magistrate, in which it was written that the lieutenant governor of that province, of that place, had asked to drop this case, which means it is all, everyone is free. So, Mahatma Gandhi is therefore saying that this civil disobedience, this is the first time that we see that civil disobedience had won in modern India. Gandhi and the lawyers now proceeded to conduct a far-flung inquiry into the grievances of the farmers. So now Gandhi and all those lawyers, you know, who were working together to actually bring justice for this peasants in Champaran, now they started conducting an inquiry, that is an investigation. So they are saying that we are going to investigate the matter, and in that, whatever evidences, whatever proof that is there, they were just collecting that. So depositions by about 10,000 peasants were written down and notes made on other evidence. So a thorough investigation was going on. People started giving in writing about their grievances, about their problems, and whatever proof that they had, everything was being documented. So documents were collected. The whole area throbbed with the activity of the investigators and the vehement protest of the landlords. So the whole area, we could see, was now under intense investigation. Yes, and here we see the vehement, that is the strong, intense protest by the landlords. In June, Gandhi was summoned to Sir Edward Gate, the lieutenant governor. Before he went, he met the leading associates and again laid the detailed plans for the civil disobedience if he should not return. So what happened? Now in June, Mahatma Gandhi was again called to meet the Lieutenant Governor, Sir Edward Gate. Now, Mahatma Gandhi thought that what if he is arrested, what if he does not return? So he again laid detailed plans of how, you know, another civil disobedience should be started if he does not return. So he's just, you know, making this detailed plan with his associates. So Gandhi had 4 protracted interviews with the Lieutenant Governor, who as a result appointed an official commission of inquiry into the indigo sharecroppers situation. So when Mahatma Gandhi actually went to meet the Lieutenant Governor Edward Gate, so there he had 4 protracted interviews. Means protracted is something which is taking more that time than it had been expected. So more time than expected. So probably maybe the meeting would have been of 1 hour, but it went on for 4 hours. So something that took more time than it was expected. Okay, so they had 4 meetings, and in that the governor was now convinced that okay, he will have to appoint an official commission of inquiry. An official commission would be there to investigate, to do the inquiry into the situation of the indigos sharecroppers of Champaran. The commission, now who all were there in this commission? The commission consisted of landlords, government officials, and Gandhi as the sole representative of the peasants. So the landlords were there, the government officials, that is the Britishers, were there, and then there was Mahatma Gandhi, who was the only one, sole means only one, who was representing the peasant body. Gandhi remained in Champaran for an initial uninterrupted period of 7 months, and then again for several shorter visits. The visit, undertaken casually on the entreaty of an unlettered peasant in the expectation that it would last a few days, occupied almost a year of Gandhi's life. So now with this official commission set up for the inquiry, Mahatma Gandhi actually stayed in Champaran for 7 months. And then even when he left Champaran, he used to visit this place very often. And now Mahatma Gandhi here is telling the author that, what actually started with just a brief interaction with a small peasant, Shukla, and which was not expected. Suddenly I met him, he told me about it, and what actually I had thought would just be a matter of few days actually took almost a year of his life. He almost spent a year trying to solve or resolve the issue of the Champaran peasants. The official inquiry assembled a crushing mountain of evidence against the big planters, and when they saw this, they agreed in principle to make refunds to the peasants. Now when this official inquiry was happening, great amount of investigation was going on, intense investigation, and that is when large amount of proof or evidence was gathered against those plantation owners who had said that okay, they will be giving the money to the peasant, but they did not. And now when there was evidence against them, they finally agreed that yes, they will have to make a refund to the peasants. That is, they will have to give the money of the peasants back to them. But how much must we pay? They asked Gandhi. So they agreed that yes, we are wrong, we took the money, we should have returned it. They are agreeing to it. But now the question is, we are ready to pay the money, but what amount should we pay? They are asking, or they are questioning Mahatma Gandhi here. They thought he would demand repayment in full of the money which they had illegally and deceitfully extorted from the sharecroppers. He asked only 50%. There he seemed adamant, writes Reverend J. Hodge, a British missionary in Champaran, who observed the entire episode at close range. So now when the big planters, they agreed that yes, they had illegally, unlawfully, and by cheating, deceitfully is through cheating, and in an unlawful manner, they had actually taken money from the sharecroppers. So now they were expecting that when they are asking Mahatma Gandhi, how much should we repay? So they expected that Mahatma Gandhi would say that whatever amount that you've taken, you have to repay the complete amount in money, in form of cash. But what came as a surprise, according to Reverend J.Z. Hodge, who was a British missionary who was looking at this episode of Champaran, who was very closely associated with it, he said that to everyone's surprise there, Mahatma Gandhi just said that we only need 50%. So whatever money you've taken, just 50% shall be returned. Thinking probably that he would not give way, the representative of the planters offered to refund to the extent of 25%. And to his amazement, Mr. Gandhi took him at his word, thus breaking the deadlock. So when the planters thought that he would ask for a proper, complete 100% refund, Mahatma Gandhi said, I need 50%. To this, we see the big planters, they're negotiating and they're saying that okay, we will only be able to repay 25%. And to everyone's amazement, and especially to Reverend J.Z. Hall's amazement, he's saying that I was very amused that Mahatma Gandhi agreed and he said that okay, I am okay with 25%. So he broke the deadlock. That is, deadlock is when there is no end. And here he's breaking that when both the parties have agreed to one thing. This settlement was adopted unanimously by the commission. Gandhi explained that the amount of the refund was less important than the fact that the landlords had been obliged to surrender part of the money and with it part of their prestige. So here this settlement was adopted unanimously, means they agreed on it. This was a joint thing, right? Mutually it was decided. So Gandhi said that okay, even if the amount that they were refunding was a very small amount, still this is important in the context that not only were they returning a small amount of money, but with this they were also, returning a part of their pride, the pride that they had, their prestige, their self-respect. Therefore, as far as the peasants were concerned, the planters had behaved as lords above the law. Now the peasant saw that he had rights and defenders. He learned courage. Events justified Gandhi's position. Within a few years, the British planters abandoned their estates, which reverted to the peasants. Indigo sharecropping disappeared. So now, when Mahatma Gandhi is saying that yes, even though the money that was refunded was very small, but these landlords, these big planters actually, had to even give away a part of their pride, a part of their self-respect. And therefore, he's saying that this was the case with the landlords, the big planters. But here, as far as the peasants were concerned, they said that the peasant now saw that yes, they have certain rights and they have certain defenders also. They have Mahatma Gandhi who's representing them. And they were also now a little fearless. They became more courageous, more strong, more brave. And this we can say about how, Mahatma Gandhi led the entire movement. And eventually, with many years, we could see that the British planters had finally abandoned, means they have left their estates, which was then given back. Reverted means they were given back. They were given back to the peasants. And therefore, finally we see that indigo sharecropping disappeared. That is, came to an end. So that is when we see that when these British planters, they left these big estates, that's when the indigo sharecropping came to an end in Champaran, which is in Bihar. Gandhi never contented himself with large political or economic situations. He saw the cultural and social backwardness in the Champaran villages and wanted to do something about it immediately. So, Gandhi said that I was never satisfied. Contented means satisfied. So, he said that I was never satisfied with these political activities and some economic solutions. Rather, he said that what I saw was the cultural and social backwardness that existed in Champaran. And he wanted to do something about this cultural and social backwardness. So, what did he do? He appealed for teachers. Mahadev Desai and Narhari Parikh, two young men who had just joined Gandhi as disciples. Disciples is followers. And their wives volunteered for the work. So when Mahatma Gandhi said that okay, political situations, economic solutions, they would go on. But what mattered most at that time was the cultural and social backwardness that existed in Champaran. Therefore, he thought of a solution and he said that I need teachers here. And to this, two of his disciples were Narhari Parikh and Mahadev Desai, along with their wives. They volunteered. They said that okay, we want to volunteer, we want to be the teachers here, we want to work. Several more came from Bombay, Pune and other distant parts of the land. Devdas, Gandhi's youngest son, arrived from the ashram and so did Mrs. Gandhi. Primary schools were opened in 6 villages. Kasturbai taught the ashram rules on personal cleanliness and community sanitation. So, these were the young people, the young followers of Mahatma Gandhi who actually took the initiative. They volunteered. They took the initiative that yes, we are going to teach here, we are going to work here as teachers. And very soon, there were many who joined in from distant lands as far as Pune, Bombay, etc. In fact, Gandhi's youngest son, Devdas, he also came from the ashram along with his mother or Gandhi's wife, and they all opened altogether 6 schools in that village. And they started teaching them about some rules, sanitation, cleanliness, etc. Health conditions were miserable. Gandhi got a doctor to volunteer his services for 6 months. 3 medicines were available: castor oil, quinine, and sulfur ointment. Anybody who showed a coated tongue was given a dose of castor oil. Anybody with malaria fever received quinine plus castor oil. Anybody with skin eruptions received ointment plus castor oil. So now health conditions here, even though people were there, teachers were there, they were teaching the people about sanitation, personal health care and hygiene, still the health conditions were very bad, miserable in this place. So Mahatma Gandhi also got a doctor here, that okay, now we have a teacher but we also need a doctor here. So the doctor was here for 6 months and he gave them 3 medicines. One was castor oil, the other was the quinine, and the third one was sulfur ointment. And these 3 medicines were given for different kind of issues. For example, if a person was suffering from a coated tongue, then that person was given a dose of castor oil. If a person showed the symptoms of malaria or malaria fever, then that person was given the quinine plus the castor oil. And if the person, had some skin eruptions, means some kind of rash on the skin, then he or she was given the ointment plus the castor oil. So now we see that how Mahatma Gandhi is trying to actually improve the living conditions of the people of Champaran. He not only elevated them from their problem of indigo, but now he is also trying to bring in improvement in their living conditions. First, he brought teachers there. Then he also took steps to improve their health conditions, and thereby he brought a doctor here. Okay. So Gandhi noticed the filthy state of women's clothes. He asked Kasturbai to talk to them about it. One woman took Kasturbai into her hut and said, "Look, there is no box or cupboard here for the clothes. The sari I am wearing is the only one I have." So Mahatma Gandhi actually took notice of different issues, and he actually saw that how women were not dressed properly in the sense that they were not wearing very clean clothes, very high, washed clothes. So he actually spoke to Kasturbai and he said that, you should go and speak to the women about this. And then one of the women actually took her to her house and said that, see, this is the condition that we live in. We don't even have a cupboard, and the sari that I am wearing is the only one. And that is the reason we are living in such dirty conditions. During his long stay in Champaran, Gandhi kept a long distance watch on the ashram. He sent regular instructions by mail and asked for financial accounts. Once he wrote to the residents that it was time to fill in the old latrine trenches and dig new ones, otherwise the old ones would begin to smell bad. So now Mahatma Gandhi was not just, while he was in Champaran for a very long period of time, it does not mean that he was not in touch with his ashram. So he was constantly taking updates while staying at Champaran. Even though he was staying at Champaran, he was constantly taking updates about the financial accounts, about the condition of the ashram through mail. And in one such mail, he had actually written that, this latrine trenches, that is the latrine pits, must be filled, must be covered, so that it does not smell bad, and newer ones should be constructed. The Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhi's life. What I did, he explained, was a very ordinary thing. I declared that the British could not order me about in my own country. So here Mahatma Gandhi is saying that, this Champaran episode that happened, this was I take as a turning point in my life. Why? Because he's saying that I did not agree to what the Britishers were doing. And why I take this as a turning point? Because what I did and how things happened was very simple, was very ordinary. It was nothing extraordinary. Because I am belonging to this country. Britishers are the foreign power. And I will not let the Britishers to dictate their terms to me in my own country, right? But Champaran did not begin as an act of defiance. It grew out of an attempt to alleviate the distress of the large number of poor peasants. So Mahatma Gandhi is saying that even though it is a turning point in my life, and I just gave a strong message to the Britishers saying that they cannot dictate their terms on me, they cannot order me in my own country. But still he is saying that this Champaran episode, this incident, actually did not meant to be as an act of defiance. So he's saying that I actually did not intended to defy any kind of law, to go disobey any law. It just grew out of an attempt. It's just that I went there to help the peasants, the indigo planters, the poor peasants. I wanted to elevate, uplift the conditions of the peasant. I wanted to bring relief to these peasants. And in that situation, in that process, I actually defied the laws. So this was the typical Gandhi pattern. His politics were intertwined with the practical day-to-day problems of the millions. His was not a loyalty to abstractions. It was a loyalty to living human beings. So now his politics, the way he was involved into politics is described, and it is said that Gandhi's idea of politics was not a loyalty to abstractions. Abstractions means we think that okay, this is an idea and we are going to implement it. So his politics was not merely into the loyalty towards his ideas, but his politics could be seen in his loyalty towards the human beings. He actually did little things for different people. He actually solved the day-to-day little problems for millions, and that is how his politics could be seen, where his devotion, his loyalty towards the people is visible, and his loyalty was not just meant to certain ideas. In everything Gandhi did, moreover, he tried to mold a new free Indian who could stand on his own feet and thus make India free. Now, more than his politics, it is also being said that Mahatma Gandhi, he actually wanted to make every Indian that brave, that courageous and that strong, that he or she could stand on its own against any kind of injustice, and he or she could be that strong that they could make their own country free. Early in the Champaran action, Charles Freer Andrews, the English pacifist who had become a devoted follower of Mahatma, came to bid Gandhi farewell before going on a tour of duty to the Fiji island. So here, early in the Champaran days, it is mentioned that early at that time there was an English pacifist. Pacifist is peacemaker. So during the early days of the Champaran issue, there was an Englishman, an English peacemaker whose name is Charles Freer Andrews. He actually came and met Mahatma Gandhi. He was actually a follower of Mahatma Gandhi, and he actually went to meet him before going to his Fiji Islands on a tour. So Gandhi's lawyer friends thought it would be a good idea for Andrews to stay in Champaran and to help them. Andrews was willing if Gandhi agreed, but Gandhi was vehemently opposed. He said, "You think that in this unequal fight it would be helpful if we have an Englishman on our side? This shows the weakness of your heart. The cause is just and you must rely upon yourself to win the battle. You should not seek a prop in Mr. Andrews because he happens to be an Englishman." So here what happened? During the initial days of Champaran, when the protest and everything was just shaping up, so there was a devotee, a disciple, a follower of Mahatma Gandhi, someone who was very fond of Mahatma Gandhi, and he was an Englishman. His name was Charles Freer Andrews. Now he was given a task, on his duty he was asked to go to Fiji Island. But before leaving for his duty, he actually came to meet Mahatma Gandhi. When he came to meet Mahatma Gandhi, so Mahatma Gandhi and his associates, his friends actually suggested that what if Andrews stay in Champaran and help them with this movement, help them in their fight against the Britishers. So Andrews said that okay, I will be here, I will help you out if Mahatma Gandhi agrees. But Mahatma Gandhi vehemently opposed, means he strongly opposed, intensely or strongly. So he opposed this idea strongly. Why? He said to his friends that this thought that we should use Andrews as a prop in our fight against the Britishers just because he's an Englishman, that would make it simple, should not be there, because what we are fighting for is just, is fair. right? It is not something unfair that we are asking. We are fighting for our own people, for our own country, against a foreign force. So why do we need him? Just because he's an Englishman. So that shows that we are not capable. So therefore he's saying that we should not ask him to stay and help us in our fight, because our cause is real, our cause is fair, and we should be strong enough, we should be capable enough to fight on our own and not rely on anyone else. He had read our minds correctly, Rajendra Prasad comments, and we had no reply. Gandhi in this way taught us a lesson in self-reliance. So now, with this episode, with this thought, Rajendra Prasad also says that, maybe we were not happy with this idea at that time, but eventually we do know that Gandhi, with this idea, has also taught us a lesson of self-reliance. That if we are having a cause that is fair, then we should fight our battles on our own. We should not be dependent on anyone. We should be self-reliant. So Indian independence and help to sharecroppers were all bound together. So this one movement, the Champaran incident, was just one of the movements which was just there to help the sharecroppers, but indeed it actually brought the Indian independence also. It was one of the movements that actually united the people against the British forces. And on this note, we've come to the end of the story, where we have discussed in detail that what exactly happened in Champaran and how did Mahatma Gandhi, brought the peasants a victory here. Yes, he actually helped the peasants fight a successful battle against the Britishers, and how he taught us various lessons to be self-reliant, to be capable, to fight for the just, to listen to our conscience of what is right, what is wrong. So too many lessons he has taught us. Yes, and obviously his idea of politics. That is the idea, the loyalty towards the human being, towards the problems of the human being, and not just the loyalty towards one abstract idea. Yes? So after the narration of the story, it's time to quickly have a summary followed by the question answers. So let's start.